Charlie, big game win for Football Club Barcelona. A game that they needed to win on all fronts, especially because of the loss in their Grand Clasico. What happened between them and Real Madrid, and the fact that Madrid this weekend has also managed to win their game. So it was non-negotiable for Football Club Barcelona. They had to win. They had to find a way to win against Elche. But they did it. It was nice. It was good and flamboyant for Football Club Barcelona. And congratulations to them for that success that they were able to win. There are lots of things that have gone on since the Chelsea game that they played against Tottenham Hotspur. Lots of updates in the English Premier League. Manchester City's big game against Bournemouth ended. We'll talk about all of that as on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube, or I say we'll go to the Italian Serie A. So there are lots of things to go about, or I say on Fifi. Manfred on YouTube. Welcome. If this is your very first time on the channel, we'll say thank you very much for choosing us. It's your best place for football tactical analysis. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Turn on notification if you're not. Any notification turn, do choose all. Just so anytime there is content, you are first to have it here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Let us delve right into it and talk about the things that we need to talk about. But first off, if you're an investor that this morning you came here to find something to win for yourself, then congratulations, big congratulations to you, because 27 solid odds did boom. I told you, I always tell you, say, if it's about football analysis and reading bet codes over anywhere, then it's here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. So anytime you come to watch the games, just look at the description of the video, you pick up the codes, and then give yourself a big chance. Congratulations. There are also 3 more codes that are waiting to boom in the waiting list, or 3 more to go. The game against Real Betis game, and I think the Porto game are all up. Or Sporting CP, one of them, are all up for 3 more slips that are good to go. I'm sure that by the time that will be done, we'll have a 4 out of 3 already for the day. So, of course, let's get straight into it, and congratulations to you. I've said it several times. I didn't need to waste my time. Let me say a big thank you to Yesimo Spare Parts /shop. It's your best place for spare parts in this country. Say car spare parts and Conrad, and the best place is Yesimo Spare Parts /shop. On the other side is MOB Clothing. Solid when it comes to clothes, apparel. Looking good, apparel, MOB Clothing. Yesimo number is 059 313 8221, or so kind post office and I use more. Of course, MOB number is 0200 668 708, 0200 668 708, or the Tudu station, or Tudu Flower station, or Tudu now, and I MOB Clothing. So go there and then go and look for MOB Clothing. Let us make sure say BBBA come up at the amount when it comes to MOB Clothing and when it comes to finding clothes. So in the last few days after the Clasico, Barca have gone through all sorts of things. They've gone through player injuries. They've gone through Lamine breaking up with his girlfriend. They've gone through the return of Dani Olmo and Robert Lewandowski returning. And of course, a lot of the people asking questions. So last year, the November for Football Club Barcelona wasn't the best. Is it going to be the same this year? Are they going to get a better November, or it's not going to be the same? What is going to be the dynamic for Football Club Barcelona when it comes to this month of November that we've entered? Because last year, it wasn't particularly a good month for them, and October wasn't a good one as well. So Barca needs to get back into it. I said it the last time, said Barca's points gap between themselves and Real Madrid is 5 points. If it keeps on being 5 or even more, if it goes to 8, then it becomes very difficult to surmount. Of course, last season, I saw Barca surmount 10 around an 11 points gap between himself and Atletico de Madrid, and eventually Real Madrid. So it is not impossible. It's something that can happen. But when it comes to times like this, where your players are getting injured, when you don't have form, you don't want the gap to increase. You want to keep it at a level where, say, only Nico Koshia be more Clasico now, Shananaka too. Then, of course, you know that, okay, maybe they can get a draw here, they can get a draw there, which is difficult. But the big question is that, can anybody in the Spanish La Liga, apart from Barcelona, maybe Atletico Madrid, because the only game that Real Madrid have lost this season is against Atletico de Madrid, Diego Simeone's side, who were struggling at some point in time until they went on to go and play in the Real Vallecano game, and later on in in the Madrid game, in that Madrid derby, and managed to win those ones, and then their season essentially have changed. But can anybody stop Madrid for Barca except Barca themselves? And that's why Barca needs to make sure that when it comes to staying up and not increasing the gap between themselves and Real Madrid, that they make that happen. And it started with a game against Elche today at the Montjuic, a place where Barca knew that is going to be their home ground. They are going to play that game. And when Mundo Deportivo came out and they said, say, Abrantia friend Robert Lewandowski and Abrantia friend Danny Olmo were all past fit to go in and go and play in that game against Elche, I thought, okay, that is very, very good news for Football Club Barcelona, because Barca's absence of Rafinha, who I've said several times, say, oh no, the tempo controller and somebody that controls the intensity levels of the team, that pulls the strings for the club, that manages to get things happen for them. No, he is very important for them when it comes to Football Club Barcelona, and then the job that Abrante Rafinha does for the club. But in Rafinha's absence, Barca needs more. They need at least an outlet in front of goal. They need somebody that can pick the pockets, and that is the job that Abrante Danny Olmo does, and does very, very well. So it was always important that Barca managed to get Danny Olmo fit, managed to get Robert Lewandowski fit for the game against Elche. And mind you, that game against Elche was always going to be against Barca, former Barcelona players or current Barca players who are playing for Elche. So, I mean, it was always going to be a little bit emotional, a little bit, fresh in your head. And see, from the blast of the whistle, you could tell that the Barca high press, high intensity was clear. In fact, it didn't take long in the opening innings of the game when Barca started to almost set the offside trap for them. And it was a game where Ronald Araujo started, so he was supposed to be the leader of the back line for Football Club Barcelona. They pushed up the field of play, they constricted the field of play, they make it very difficult for Elche to play through them. And it looked as if Elche wanted to go man for man across the field of play. It looked as if across everywhere, Elche wanted to go man for man. They wanted to go aggressive. They wanted to make sure that they prevent Barcelona from having loads on the ball. So then the game also became very direct for Football Club Barcelona, using players like Marcus Rashford, Lamine Yamal to get in behind and find those spaces and then make the difference as they wanted to do. It was very important. I think that large parts of the game was played in the first half. Large parts of the game was played in the first half. And for me, this is probably the best game I've seen Lamine Yamal, Ibanez, Nazraoui play in a very long time. And since all of the issues around him, post the Ballon d'Or, the Copa Trophy, coming back, the conversation on social media around Lamine's, personal life, the interview before the Madrid derby, Lamine's performance, his injury in his pubalia, and of course the groin injury in a general extent. Since then, we have had different reasons to say that, okay, Lamine is probably not 100%. People have said that psychologically, maybe he's focusing too much on things that are off the pitch than he is on the things that are on the pitch. Again, people have come and say, okay, Osha Lamine Bono, that issue of the groin, may be affecting him. And there are times where people say that during the Clasico, Lamine Yamal will run. After do baby, and we're no saw the groin, and we check and say, oh, or you okay, and is the groin fine, things like that. It is something that Lamine Yamal looked to have been going through. It has been stressing him about it. Throughout the game and in recent times after the Ballon d'Or celebration. But then again, it looks as if he has rediscovered the form in the game against Elche, constantly running the channels, being dominant in his 1v1 duels, being very direct in the dribbles. So everything that Lamine Yamal seems to be doing in that job in that job against Elche looks to be going on in the right direction, and that is very, very good part for Abrantia, your friend Lamine Yamal. Obviously, that starting 11 of Abrantia friend Wojciech Szczesny, Ferran Torres, Eric Garcia, of course, Abrantia friend Ronald Araujo, Frankie de Jong, Marcus Rashford, Marc Casado, Jules Koundé, Abrantia friend Fermin Lopez, Lamine Yamal, and Alejandro Balde was essentially a starting lineup that we knew was going to be important. And I think that apart from Lamine Yamal, the role of Fermin Lopez in picking pockets and receiving the ball in the tight space and getting in behind is very important. I think one of the things that people have said, and almost all of us have come to agree, that is the biggest attribute of Fermin Lopez is the finishing ability. When he gets in behind, how Fermin Lopez is able to take his time and then finish the job. He is brilliant at it. He gets the job done. Once he gets in behind, he's able to slot it home and then get a goal. So that is exactly the quality that Abrantia friend Fermin Lopez has over there. He had 1 assist, 2 key passes, 14 passes, 1 big chance created, 2 shots, 20 touches, and 3 duels, all in the first half. Very instrumental in the tight spaces, in the half spaces for Football Club Barcelona. He was one of the best players in that regard in terms of pulling strings and making things happen for Barcelona. Abrentia, your friend of Femi Lopez was really, really important. He was important in all parts of the game when it comes to what he was doing for Football Club Barcelona. In the first half, when Barcelona went up through that goal from Abrentia friend Lamine Yamal, Ibanez Nazraoui, now you could tell that there was a lot of confidence. Barcelona were going into it. They understood that, okay, this is a game where they had to win. They had to go into it and get a result. And in the second half, a very, very good goal from Abrentia Ayefreno and Marcus Rashford. In fact, throughout the first half, it looked as if Marcus Rashford wanted a goal. There was a time in the first half where there was a chance of Marcus Rashford on the far side that I felt that he should have squared it for. Was it Femi Lopez or whoever that he should have squared it for? His teammates, but Marcus did not square. He held onto the ball in the far side and decided not to square that ball, and it affected him. But when the second chance did come, it was clear that Marcus was looking for the goal. Again, he had an option. This time he went for the fair post with a lot of power and beat Inaki Peña to his first post, and there was a lot of power behind that. Took a ricochet of the underneath of the crossbar, and it of course went into the post, and that was a very, very good strike from a branch friend Marcus Rashford. Excellent in that regard. You can tell that he knows that there's a lot on his shoulder right now as a Football Club Barcelona player, and they believe in him. And when Daniel Olmo at around the 65th minute was brought on by Abrentia for Abrentia Ayefreno and Femi Lopez, you could tell that that's also a new thing. When Dro and Rooney Baggio came on for Lamine Yamal, it was a very, very good one when it comes to Abrentia Ayefreno, Dro Fernandez, and of course Rooney Baggio. And Barca's game was excellent. Barca, you could tell that Barca understood what they wanted to do, and the man of the match went to our branch friend Marcus Rashford. He was exceptional. He was exceptional. But in that game, I think that yes, you talk about Femi Lopez. You talk about what Femi Lopez did. 2 assists in that game for Football Club Barcelona. I think everything went to him. Yes, he didn't score, but it was very important. Then the performance of our branch friend Marc Casado, because people were asking, saying the absence of Pedri Gonzalez, can Marc Casado stand up and then be the difference maker? In the absence of Pedri Gonzalez, will Frankie de Jong have issues in his play? But it didn't look like that in this game against Elche. It looked as if Football Club Barcelona were similar still, and then they played some good football on them. That's exactly how things have been. Last season, it was Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, and then Robert Lewandowski. But in this season, it looks like Marcus Rashford and Femi Lopez are 2 of the most important players at the moment for Football Club Barcelona. And in 14 matches, 6 goals and 5 assists, Marcus Rashford has 11 goal contributions. 11 solid goal contributions from Marcus Rashford for Football Club Barcelona. And what he does, how he does his things, creating chances, being direct, playing forward, and making things happen was important. And Barca have lost possession in the La Liga match for the very first time since 2023. And like you remember, I told you, say this is a game now Elche Fono wanted to hold on to the ball. They held on to the ball, and they made it more direct. They also pressed Barcelona man for man. So usually man for man games comes down to the qualitative superiority of the players, and Barca's qualitative superiority really did show in there, and that was a good one. And see, I've said it several times. I remember a couple of months ago when I first saw, I think a year or so ago, when I first saw Alejandro Balde, and I said, Charlie, this guy is quality. I said, Charlie, Alejandro Balde is quality. He is worth his onions. He's a top player. He can get a job done in everything that he's doing. So people should look at Alejandro Balde. People said, oh, Fifi, calm down. I mean, he may not be up there. Alejandro Balde is a brilliant left winger. He is top. I mean, the only reason why he doesn't get to play in the Spanish national team is because of Marco Correa. But if you want to talk about how much of a quality player Alejandro Balde is, he is. I mean, he's a specialist in crossing from the byline, a player who breaks the lines from his dribbling and then passing zones as well. Plus, being technically gifted, this is where he shines, and he's crucial to Football Club Barcelona, and he was crucial today. And of course, after the game, Ferran Torres spoke, Lamine Yamal, all of the players that they played spoke about the game and what it brought on to them. And Ferran Torres said, for us, it's very important to start strong with high intensity from the minutes so we can take the lead as we did today. And from there, control the game as we want. That's exactly what Ferran Torres is talking about. Say, Charlie, this is a game where they had to start faster. They had to make sure they were intense. They go into it, the press, the counter press. They were physical, and then get things done for themselves. He felt like it was something that was very, very important for him, and they had to go into the game and then go and do that job when it comes to the game that they were playing in those matches now. And of course, Hansi Flick spoke about the game, the importance of the game, why they needed to win. Like Hansi Flick knew that, of course, Hector Fort was also very good. And after the game, Hansi Flick went to say hello to him. Said, Charlie, I'd have loved to have you at Barcelona. But I said, Charlie, the way I born a cock corner and the way I play someone seen the way I club in this kind of, I had to let you go, but you're a good player. He went to hug a brand to your friend Hector Fort. To speak to him and to encourage him, say, of course, things are going to be well for Noah Brandt, friend Hector Fort, when it comes to the things that are going on over there for Brandt, friend Hansi, Dieter, Flick, Hansi, Dieter, Flick, when it comes to those games, how things are going to go on from there. We are going to see how things are going to pan up when it comes to all of those things. Now, the English Premier League table has changed, and what it means is that Manchester City are in second position, Arsenal first position. It is very, very interesting because in the lead up to this season, I don't know if anybody expected that Man City are going to be here. I've seen a lot of people who have told me several times that Man City are the people that are going to give Arsenal a run for their money and not Liverpool. I mean, I've doubted it for a very long time. People have even said that they think that Manchester City will win this league. They are very, very confident that Manchester City are going to win this league. I keep on asking them, how possible is that Manchester City are going to win? They have not found rhythm. They have not been good enough. But today, they went on to go and play against Andoni Iraola's Bournemouth, and they were clear favorites. They were the sharper of the two teams. Normally, a much more of the better team, technically controlling the game on all fronts, receiving the ball in almost every phase of play, and then being important in that regard. It was Manchester City that were at the helm of it. It was Manchester City that really did control everything for themselves. And what it means today, we'll talk about the game proper, but what it means today is that when you look at the English Premier League table, Arsenal are on top. And I have spoken about Arsenal. I've said that, see, the kind of football Arsenal are playing is that defensive solidity. In fact, people are beginning to say that one year, Arsenal will be able to break Chelsea's record of conceding just 15 goals in a season. If they're able to do that, that is going to be monumental. Because I remember, say, a couple of years ago, people have said that one of the things that Arsenal, all the records in the Premier League that will be difficult to break is the 15-goal record of Chelsea Football Club. Whether any team in the modern Premier League history will be able to break that. People have said that when it talks about the City's centenarians, 100+ points, people can break it. If it's about winning 13 games, 14, 15 games in a row, like what Pep Guardiola used to do, I mean, teams can do it. But people have said that if it's about going into games, a whole season, 38 game season, we've now played 10. And that's a Utimi winning, and that's a Utimi conceding just 15 goals or less. Then that is going to be huge. That is going to be something that will be spoken about for a long time. But how Arsenal are moving, it's interesting. It is very, very interesting how Arsenal are moving with the goals that they don't concede. They score 1-2, then they shut up short, they make it very compact. And I think that is the strength of Arsenal. They are very solid defensively, very physical, difficult for you to break them down, set plays, open play. They are difficult in that regard. And that is what makes Arsenal and Mikel Arteta team very, very, very difficult for anybody to play against them. That is what makes them literally impossible for anybody to stop them. I have said that I think that they will be able to go on and win the league, but it's a matter of time. Let's see if they'll be able to go on and then replicate that and get it done. Of course, Man City in that big game against Team Friend. Man City in that big game against Team Friend Bournemouth managed to win. But before that, yesterday there was big ones from Liverpool who managed to go into that game against Aston Villa. I said it this morning. Said a lot of Liverpool fans are saying that they think that Arne Slot is getting back to basics. Basics in the sense that he is doing the simple things. He is not overplaying. He is not focused on playing 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 passes before a goal. He is not dwelling on tempo controlling and what have you. He is going back to the chaotic nature in which he won the league last season. And a lot of Liverpool fans, like if you talk to somebody like Kwekwa Inkra, who is a big Liverpool fan, somebody like Dr. Parry, all of these Liverpool fans, they'll tell you severally that it's about, that is the best, that is how you can get the best out of Liverpool. That is how you can get the best out of the club. Being direct, being straightforward, being chaotic, that is what gets the best out of Mohamed Salah. And I mean, because of that, yesterday we were able to win by 2-0. And of course, brought back Mohamed Salah getting his 250th goal for Liverpool. And that is a huge monumental feat. And after the game, there were club legends over there. There was Steve McManaman and of course Steven Gerrard, Stevie G, all at pitch side. And of course, Mohamed Salah went there to go and congratulate they congratulated Mohamed Salah and say thank you to him. And that's a very good one. And that means that it has moved Liverpool to third position in 18 points. Arsenal 25 points. Liverpool third with 18 points. Tottenham, Chelsea, after that big game win against Tottenham Hotspur, important one. They managed to go into that game and get all the maximum 3 points for Football Club Chelsea Football Club. And I mean, after the game, the big conversation has been about certain players beat Sabantia, your friend Robert Sanchez. I think yesterday he was particularly instrumental in everything that he did for Football Club Chelsea. Football Club. He was top. He was top in every connotation of the word top. Every set piece, be a Tottenham Hotspur total box, Abrantia, your friend Robert Sanchez came out and he claimed that he was physical, he was dominant in his area. And yesterday, I think he was one of those players that I forgot to give credit to, but he deserves a lot of credit. Robert Sanchez deserves lots of credit for the job that he was able to do yesterday. And what it means is that Enzo Maresca has won 6 out of the last 7 games. And he was asked in a post-match press conference, hey, Charlie, it looks as if the thing is not inconsistent as we have made it look like it is inconsistent, sir. Or what is the issue? No, so yeah, I mean, it's just one game that we lost against Sunderland as we got us here. But that is the nature of the English Premier League. And I think it's also how close the top half of the English Premier League table looks like. Today you are here, the next day you are there. Today you are there, the next day you are there. So you need to be consistent. And that's why Maresca knows that he needs to keep up the pace. He needs to be consistent in the English Premier League and get a results from there. Or else he's going to be in so much trouble for himself. Of course, on the other side, people are talking about, the good job of Moises Caicedo and how much of a good player that he is. But yesterday I said is that people don't talk about Enzo Fernandes and the quality that Enzo Fernandes brings to their team. Charlie, Fernandes is excellent. Excellent in every word of it. See, the technical level of Enzo Fernandes is brilliant. He picks pockets, creates chances. The kind of difficulty in passes that Enzo Fernandes plays even is probably one of the best that you see every time that he is playing his games on him. He has shown it several times. He is top in that regard. He has shown it several times. He is brilliant in terms of being solid in almost all of that areas of play. He is one of the best that you can get when it comes to Enzo Fernandes in that regard. And people are beginning to talk about the quality of Abrante and Enzo Fernandes and Chelsea managing to win that game against Tottenham Hotspur. But today, it was a big one between Manchester City and Bournemouth side. See, I've said it several times. I don't trust Gianluigi Donnarumma. I've seen people see my tweet on Twitter and say that, it's hate. I don't know why I'll hate Gianluigi Donnarumma. What does Gianluigi Donnarumma have that I can have that I hate him? I'll never be a goalkeeper. I will never earn as much as Gianluigi Donnarumma earns per week. I can only get what God has given me, so I can't hate him. I said that when all of those Gianluigi Donnarumma debacle and the chastising of Robert Sanchez was going on, I said one thing, that if you look at the data, Gianluigi is not too far off Robert. And that is the truth. People like big names and flamboyant things and nice things. People like to pick things like, which is nice, which is okay and granted. But then again, I asked myself, why would a coach like Luis Enrique say that he wants Lucas Chevalier and not keep Gianluigi Donnarumma, especially in the context of it? We're going to buy a new goalkeeper and then they were not probably even going to get anything decent for Gianluigi Donnarumma when he moves Manchester City. But that's exactly what it is over there. Now, you look at the game, the goal that they considered today, that's Tyler Adams' goal, from a clear mistake from Gianluigi Donnarumma. Last 2 seasons or so, I saw him in the Champions League, it was not good. And he has issues. The last international break, Italy versus Israel or so, he fluffed another aerial ball like that. Gianluigi is like that. And I said it several times. That is the reason why, for me, I would never choose Gianluigi Donnarumma over Robert Sanchez, honestly speaking. I'd rather go for an upgrade of both if I want to move on from Robert Sanchez. If not, and I don't have the means and I'm not ready, I'm sticking with Robert Sanchez. But then, forget about Gianluigi Donnarumma. The game was dominated, controlled, and then masterminded by one man who now has accepted that he is a robot. Yeah, Ellen, Brot, Highland, I didn't say the name anymore. Ellen, Brot, Holland has now accepted that he is a robot. And he truly is, because the numbers do, attest to those facts that it looks as if Erling Haaland isn't human and he's doing things that only robots can be able to do. So close to equaling his own record. Most goals after 10 matches. Erling Haaland last season, 2022-2023 season, which is 2 seasons ago, had 15. This season, he has 13. How do you score 13 goals after 10 games? That is an average of 1 point something. That is very, very interesting from Erling Haaland. And the next to him is Les Ferdinand. He himself twice before that. That is the quality of Erling Haaland when it comes to these games. And there was a ball where I just saw Erling Haaland's tweet where he said, I guess I can't hide it any longer. Of course, he has accepted when people call him a robot, he has accepted that he is a robot. And there was a ball. First goal, Russia, it just went in front of the player, and just when Odiniti control one call from Bernardo Silva raised his hand to say that Charlie, the goal is going to come, and that was going to happen. But I could tell it's on that area. Say Erling Haaland won't miss that, and he didn't miss. He didn't miss, and the second one again, the guy is just something. Or sure, anymore, you're in trouble. Andoni Areola obviously went to the Etihad to go and open up and then press City, and then hope that he forces them to make mistakes, but on the day, Pep was smart with a kind of player selection. I think that the selection of Ryan Cherki as a press-resistant player, Jeremy Doku, more central to draw a lot of the Bournemouth players. Because if you want to press, then I'll put a lot of more press-resistant players centrally. Then you come and press, then we get in behind you. Was an excellent tactic going into the game, and that is how Man City were able to do their job. And Man City are top of the Premier League scorers for the season. Erling Haaland 13, Maxim Steve. Own goal 2, Nico Reali 1, Mateus Cunha, Phil Foden, Ryan Cherki, Tijani Reinders. That team is being done by Brent Jeffrey and Erling Haaland. He is literally the main figure in that team that is making things happen for them. He is the one that is sorting things out for Football Club by Manchester City in that regard. And they won the game by 3-1. There was also a good goal by Brent Jeffrey and Nico Oriali, and of course, congratulations to all of them in Manchester City. So it's a wrap of the weekend for me here at was on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing us. In the morning, you hear from us with some more analysis, one more in-depth analysis. Of course, I will be available this week. We'll get into it. So, of course, see you. Until then,